Hey, so I'm gonna warn you, this video is gonna be a clusterfuck with me going off tangent. You know how it is, there's gonna be a lot of things to talk about. Anyways, here's my Octavia plushie and the Persona 3 Reloaded fan art that I commissioned. Why? Because disturbing the pace! Look into my ass! So first things first, as a fascist YouTuber because Redditors can't read, there were mistakes I've made from my part 1 or season 1 of my video. Like me briefly mentioning that hellspawns can be redeemed. They can't. That's a lie. Calling Angel Dust a gangster rather than a Mexican mobster. Didn't know the difference? Now I know. Sarah's reasoning isn't overpopulation, it's paranoia. Though there is an inconsistency in season 2, specifically when she ordered heaven to be shielded. The thing is, if you're this paranoid of a person, wouldn't you want to be shielded 24/7? And perhaps I'm being very autistic about this, so take this for a grain of salt. So we know season 2 takes place a month after Adam's invasion and his death.
Friend died for no reason, and I'm never gonna cope from watching him get fucking murdered right in front of me last month.
Why I find this important is the way they structured season 1 finale. Is after they built the hotel, we then see that Serpentius is in heaven. So you're telling me for a month they not only had Serpentius in heaven and did nothing at all, but also have heaven be unprotected after Adam's death for a month. That being said, the overpopulation part of my video was a mistake. However, the biggest one was me not properly defending genocide in this series. I should have gone harder on the subject, however, I didn't think it was that important until the comment section in my video. It also didn't help that I gave simple response. So how I'm gonna structure this video is, we're going from the least to the most important comments in my YouTube video, while also mentioning season 2. Starting from, you didn't watch the show, and media literacy. There aren't real arguments, just emotional reactions, especially the media literacy one. The word is so overused, it no longer means anything. It's similar to left-leaning people calling others Nazis and fascists while not understanding what that word is. Or grifters saying that X game is woke because they don't know what the word actually means. And to prove my point, let's analyze this comment. It's thought as if the show is about redemption. Not that all the sinners are secretly innocent of their crimes. Tell me you haven't watched the video without telling me you haven't watched the video. I literally mentioned that the show is about redemption. That doesn't work. I feel like majority who've watched Headsman Hotel forgot what the world is about, or how some people never ask how redemption would work. And Adam is in fact extremely evil, cause it's clear a large portion of his action is fueled not by what he thinks is best for heaven, but to personally, with 2 L's, spite Lilith and Lucifer. Source, trust me bro. And that he doesn't even target a list of the most evil sinners, but any sinner that happens to be present in his line of sight. He's likely to kill a Angel Dust of Nifty, yes, you heard it right, as he is to kill a Valentino. I have 2 questions for this. 1, what's the difference between a small cockroach to a larger one? And 2, how would Adam know who Valentino is, where he is, and in general, how sinful the person is? Do you really suspect Adam is like Santa, or has someone making a list on who's in his faggot list? You understand how silly it sounds like. And it's almost as if the heavy implication is that the population issue is purely artificial, cause someone ought keeping all the sinners in one singular ring rather than letting them disperse across the literal labeled rings of hell that are literally labeled after certain fucking sins. Not bad, but you know what also could have implied? It could imply that when we kill someone, the first thing we feel is a sense of pride of accomplishment. Another personal interpretation of why lust, greed, wrath, envy, whatever, etc., aren't open to sinners is because sinners are fucking immigrants.
And sinners all have an idea of what imps are, right? We're little red guys with pitchforks torturing their souls for all eternity. Well, that's fucking outdated. Most of us are baristas and boring shit, and since we're born here, we kinda gotta serve whoever the fuck lands in our backyard, but...
There not only are the Italians and Indians in hell, but sinners require food and yet they can't die, wasting all the resources, unlike imps, succubi, and furries, in which they actually can die. And remember, God never mentioned to target hellborns, which also leads to tell me that Adam and his exorcists are just ICE members. They deport illegal immigrants, so who gives a fuck about them? Not to mention, we get a massive lore dump in Season 2, where the extermination has been ongoing in 7 years.
So basically what you're trying to tell us is that an angel told you your silly little snake friend was alive. The same angels that made it their whole thing for 7 years to kill as many of us as possible. And you just expect us to believe all that.
The same time that Lilith has been gone for, meaning either Adam was very patient with sinners until Lilith showed up in heaven, or Lilith herself convinced Adam to kill all the immigrants. That being said, I believe in the death of the author, because if Vitzi is allowed to add stupid shit that isn't explained in the main show, like how Lucifer, this faggot, created the Goetias, hence why the Speaker of God looks like that, then you and I should be allowed to be able to also interpret stupid shit, for better or worse. Another side tangent, in Hell of a Boss, it's mentioned that going to heaven or hell is a 50-50.
Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but when humans die, they either end up here or up there.
And in Has-Been, Sarah or anyone doesn't know how one gets to heaven, which is bad writing, and that's a fact. No 10th commandment, no asking God, the Bible is never mentioned, nor purgatory. You know purgatory, the place where decent people are here until God or some angel just shows up and it's like, yeah, you're going to heaven. Like, really guys? That's the best you could think of? We just don't know. Hopefully you understand why I don't take the media literacy crowd seriously. My grammar isn't perfect, but this is embarrassing. The other comments are, Adam is an asshole. Newsflash, most of your favorite characters are most likely dickheads to begin with. Not an argument. And perhaps my next video will be defending Stella because there are nuances to justify her behavior. Also, I would argue Charlie is worse than Adam, for one simple reason. When Adam discovered one of his exo-sisters were slaughtered by burning abyss, he was pissed.
We should just go down there now and destroy them.
No. We can't risk them catching on. But don't worry. When we come back, there won't be a demon left alive to pull a stunt like this again!
While Charlie, despite the off-screen character development of Serpentius' death, the moment Baxter shows up, she easily was like, yo guys, we got Serpentius back! I mean Baxter!
Pentius was an inventor. That's so cool. I bet you're just like him.
If you're referring to that pompous snake, I'd like it known I am nothing like him.
Hey, everyone, meet Pentius.
Baxter.
Right, Baxter. And you're here to be redeemed, Baxter. Sorry, Pentius, Baxter. I got it.
What I'd also dislike is people will say stuff like, Adam is simply a jerk and a nepo baby, while also make a fucking essay on how sinners, hating on sinners or killing them is unjustified. It's either very simple or in detail. Pick one, motherfucker. And speaking of hating on sinners, we also get comments saying that if a sinner did get to heaven, they wouldn't have a reason to do bad things. Yes, because if Alistair the Fraud was in heaven, he totally wouldn't do anything bad. No. He would vibe with them totally, bro. Wait, what's this? And characters like the V's and Alistair get their powers from hell itself. If they were redeemed, A, that would imply they wouldn't want to harm other sinners. B, they wouldn't have their powers anymore. Wow. Octavia, do I need to explain this? God damn it. Okay. Let's look at A. If you think a sinner one day decided, you know what, I don't feel like harming people, would be enough to redeem a person, you're fucking delusional. Even if we include confessing your sins and apologizing to what you've done, some sins are just impossible to redeem. And the V's and Alistars are irredeemable pieces of shit. That's the fact. They wouldn't have their powers anymore. Yes, because you need powers to wreak havoc. It's not like Angel does have Tommy guns that are concealed, mind you. At the same time, Cherry Bomb with her explosives. And even if we don't include weapons, with enough charisma, you can just manipulate everyone. Hey, future me here. I forgot to add this to my script. And the fact that vandalism does exist in heaven. And you can guess who commits vandalism. The guy who got redeemed. Ain't that ironic? We started with Fox manipulating Carmine, even though Carmine has no reason to just help Fox. In other words, I get comments from demon posters who are way too sympathetic towards an evil race. To be fair, I'm including parts of season 2, but even then, it supports my argument of Adam not being evil. You do know we're the parts of the problem, right? Most people nowadays go to hell. Just because you're an angel from heaven doesn't automatically mean you're a good guy. One example is Sentinel Prime from Transformers 1. Yeah, we have a term for evil angels. They're called fallen angels, you muppet. Also, congratulations, you mentioned one evil Autobot in one specific movie. Don't get me wrong, maybe there are evil Autobots in the comics. Mentioning one guy is like saying the Avengers aren't good people because Tony Stark was a war criminal or Hank Pym abuses his wife. I would have been okay if the series shows us not all sinners are bad, but we don't get that. What we get is Serpentius getting raped. Yeah, I'm supposed to be sympathetic towards the sinners. Nah, screw them. But EngPol, it was a joke. I didn't see any jokes of the dedicated Angel Dust episode. Although season 2 rectified that, so... All I see is the boys situation all over again. These characters get special treatment. The other ones, comedic relief. Another one is the cannibal child. People already made good points, but to speed it up, that child could have been a man who looks like a child. In Christianity, children are in heaven because they don't know shit. But to be frank, I don't mind children in hell if the series itself was self-aware that they're pieces of shit. Or because they needed both Adam and Lut to look bad, so let's add a child to manipulate the audience to sympathize the character Vaggie. Maybe, perhaps, if at the end of the extermination day, they left her behind. Maybe I could have been like, okay, yeah, no, that's a dick move, Adam and Lut. But it all depends on how you show it to the audience. Okay, now we are the biggest one, the juicy parts. Genocide. Genocide, in short, is targeting specific group of people and wiping their existence. It could be ethical, racial, religious, etc, etc. To make an example, when majority think of genocide, you most likely think of the war of Ethan Sheckelstein and Hamas Piker. I apologize, it's simply a popular topic, unfortunately. Or at least for now, I don't know. Now, the reason why I don't advocate genocide in real life compared to fiction, it's because real life is a lot more complicated and quite frankly, boring as fuck. Like, yeah, killing is bad and very gay. What else do you want me to say? I'd rather let nature take its course and wish 2 faggot presidents would just stop fighting and move the fuck on. So why do I still think genocide is justified in Has-Been Hotel universe? It's rather simple. Sinners aren't ethical, racial, or religion. They're parasites that needed to be exterminated. And season 2 proves my point that Lucifer is rather a fucking idiot. For those who haven't seen season 2, it's revealed Lucifer can't harm sinners. Like, literally.
Wait a second, he's been what?
Yeah. So, you know, you think you could go over and, like, I don't know, smite him or something?
Oh, sorry. Oh, Anastasia. I'll let you in on a little secret. I cannot smite him. No, it's kind of part of the whole hell thing. You see, it isn't just a place, it's a punishment. And mine is that I'm stuck here with all these sinners, can't kill them, can't do nothing with them, so I just have to ignore them. They are all mega gross and not a single one of them has good taste in musical theater.
The moment he tries to do a fire punch at Fox, the fire just disintegrated. Let's ignore the fact that he could have easily bypassed that restriction with him throwing rocks or summoning his duck army demons. Just a fan favorite idea for myself. That also begs the question, does the no harming sinners rule apply to only him or also applies to the 7 deadly sins? Because again, if the 7 deadly sins don't have that restriction, then I'm pretty sure Lucifer would swallow his pride and does his domain expansion 6 niggas and have them beat the shit out of the fees. And if they do have that restriction, then Lucifer can switch his job application into support, have Charlie and Vaggie as DPS units, Nifty as a tank, and make a FF14 raid into a Vox Arasaka tower. I'm just saying, it's not that hard. Not to mention, Fox cannot harm Charlie because of Alistair's deal. So yeah, Fox is fucked regardless. And midwits say he's intelligent. Freaking Down syndrome people. But regardless, I find it shocking that Lucifer not realizing in season 1 that I can't harm sinners. And perhaps there might be a case where a sinner might start a war against heaven because he's retarded. Maybe I should have Charlie to just surrender and apologize to Adam, and hopefully God might find forgiveness to my autistic child. Because after Adam's death, everything went to shit. And before you say, oh, having killed sin 7 years means jack shit. And they only killed thousands, not billions, not even millions, thousands. If Charlie just sit there in her cuck chair in a few minutes with Pagan Mint, I mean Adamczyk, and just shut the fuck up, she would have unlocked a secret ending where Adam invites to his crib, opens his angelic firearms, and not just have fun and shoot gay niggas, but also talk like adults. Rant over. Maybe people will say the cast are decent people, they are like a family, homies and crap. One problem, minus Charlie, because that's the only fucking person people will never reference and won't shut up. She's such a good person. Why would you dislike the character who wants redemption? I'm sorry, Octavia, hold on. Oh, fuck me. So the problem with has been, and might as well include hell of a cast here, screw it, why not? They're less like a family and more like co-workers wanting to murder each other. Even if there is one episode where they discuss their issues, that's it. It goes back to artificial drama, with guess what? Artificial fucking drama. And then they resolve it with one single goddamn episode rather than building it up. Again, I have to reference Vaggie's freaking court case, or freaking bitching about season 2, Vaggie and Charlie bitching about it, and freaking Husk and Angel does bitching about it. The next episode, oh, they're best friends. Oh, wow. Oh, build up? Fuck that. What is build up, man? It's even worse when people not realizing that the relationship is rather rushed because 8 episodes is short, like Charlie and Vaggie. Not to be homophobic, because hating on gays is still part of my lifestyle, but am I the only person that thinks Charlie doesn't give 2 shits about Vaggie, only when the plot forces her to give a crap? To be more specific, at the end of the episode where Adam exposes Vaggie that she's not just an angel but used to join the extermination, I have 2 issues with this. 1, why didn't Vaggie ever told Charlie about it? Well, actually, I can take a guess why. Charlie is a very childish person, unlike the pilot where she acts like an adult. Second, my other issue is, why would Charlie give a crap? Holy shit, my girlfriend killed sinners. Did you at least kill Mr. BK do crimes? What about Gandhi the Pajit? Or what was his name? Let me think. What about the Saint Fentanyl? Did you take away his breath? Back to decent people. We kinda can figure out Angel Dust's backstory, but not that much. Why is it important? Because at the same episode, the court case episode, of all the people she could have picked, Charlie picked Angel Dust to prove her point that all sinners can be better people. The issue is, other than whoring herself and snorting cocaine, that's all we know about him. But EngPol, yeah, mobster, Mexican mobster. Okay, well, what about his mobster's life? Did he kill people? If so, was it quick or did he torture people? Did he deal drugs to kids or not? Was he a freaking goon? We have no clue. Technically, in season 2 confirms that it was a murder. Presumably, he killed his own father because how do I know this? Let's be real, sometimes the writing can be predictable in a good way, sometimes a bad way. Instead, we get characters glazing over Alistair for a millionth time and his pointless backstory season 2. Why pointless? You and I could figure out easily and picture all the puzzle pieces in season 1, realizing, hey, Alistair looks like a serial killer, and move the frick on. Another one is Husk. Lots of comments or in general will say his sin isn't that bad, he's just greedy. It's not about if his sin is bad, it's about if Husk recognizes his own flaws and wants to be a better freaking person. I hate to regurgitate it. Season 2 proves my point, that he doesn't care.
Booze, nobody want nothing from me, and a song sung by a lovely broad. Here's to you, baby.
Before we continue, I am thankful none of my comments makes this comparison, and that it's an old Reddit post, I'll admit, asking if Adam is worse than Valentino. Majority say Adam is worse because genocide bad, and he finds killing entertainment, even though Valentino also finds killing funny. Minus the fact that there's an abusive rapist in hell, while Adam is mercy killing you. And again, you can both have a job and still find it enjoyment. And this is the part I'm confused about. Genocide is worse than rape because you're harming multiple people than one person. I presume we can all agree with that. But in the context of Has-Been Hotel, there's a nuance to this. Sinners are no longer humans. They once were, I agree. However, they made horrible choices in life and they got punished, hence why they're in hell permanently. I mean, we've seen it in Hell of a Boss. Hey sir, why do you want to murder this person? Because fuck 'em. Okay, let's go away, slave guy! Even if you argue that we can't speak for the victims that got killed, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 they would rather be killed by Adam than be in an eternal abusive relationship. Let's continue. This invites the question, is genocide bad because you disagree with the act itself, or are you okay with it if the people deserve it? If the answer is former, your argument is shot. If it's the latter, who are the angels to pass that judgment when they don't even know what gets someone into heaven? God himself gave Adam the mission to kill sinners. If God is saying you killing sinners makes you a good person, then Adam is a good fucking person. I already mentioned the 10 commandments and reading the Bible and other stuff. So someone responded with this. What if the sinners who wanted to be redeemed was a murderer, abuse, or a rapist? Would it be right their victims to allow them to have a chance into heaven? And then we get this. I mean, considering heaven and hell in Has-Been Hotel setting is a reflection of the prison system in some way, I think it is dubious to think that keeping them locked instead of rehabilitating them is pretty fucked up. Murderers, rapists, etc. should have a second chance is what I'm saying. Imagine if you have a daughter or son, whatever, and he or she not only were killed but also eaten by a cannibal. And that cannibal is describing how delicious the food is, how they cooked it in medium rare, or worse, well done. Would you want that person to be redeemed? I'm sorry, but if a man, give another example, if a man kills his wife and children, a simple sorry won't fix it. I'll admit that some sins can be less fucked up, but rape, murder, and abusers are the different story, my guy. Hell, no pun intended, if the writers show a character committed suicide, not the bitch from 13 Reasons Why, she can go to hell, but the dude saying crap like, I killed myself because life treated me like shit, something like that, then okay, we could discuss this, but we don't have that case. No, instead we should feel bad for Angel Dust because he was forced to take 77 back shots and blowjobs. Motherfucker should be thankful he's not doing Human Centipede to smut, or a Serbian film, or any other gore shit you find in Clear Web. So yeah, TLDR, genocide in Has-Been Hotel universe is justified because sinners aren't a race, nor are they humans. Instead, they manipulate the audience to not think with music. The big bag does the bad thing, and because no one questions Charlie's thesis. Let me give you an example. Imagine if you would, a story about an individual who wants to open a school of flight.
Hey people, this is Seth here.
To teach you. They do all the things, all the tests to promote for the school of flight. And when you finally get there, it's not about piloting school. It's about a school that teaches you how to fly without a plane. In other words, it's a school that lets people jump off the fucking building to see if you'll fly. That is the problem with Charlie's thesis. It is a thesis that should have been tested beforehand, before it has been given as much coverage as it was. Same with the pilot. It has the main issue with Has-Been Hotel is that she's running it as an experiment, but she has nothing to go off on. She does not know if could be possible, if sinners can be redeemed, and even if you argue season 2 existence, Charlie did jack shit. It was Adam who redeemed Serpentius. And even if you argue redemption is possible, we still don't know the cause Serpentius to be redeemed, because it can't be as simple as guilt. There should be more research done. It also doesn't help that Serpentius is the only person that got redeemed for how many years, even with or without the extermination, before Charlie was even born. Again, that tells me sinners don't care about redemption, and Sarah, instead of being skeptical about it, she's being a freaking idiot and already believes in Charlie. Because like I said in my previous video, no one attempts to challenge Charlie's thesis or argue how flawed it is. And before you say the V's challenge her, not really, because the end of the season 2 is just like, oh, the pen just got redeemed. And so if someone disagrees with her, then the character is a villain. The only thing I feel bad for sinners is they're getting manipulated by Fox, because Fox wants to control to get his own goals. He doesn't give two shits about sinners, and unfortunately, some of the audience believe him. So unfortunately, I could not have covered every single comment because how many there are. And I thank anyone, even if the ones I responded, because this challenges to give better arguments. Even if some of them are foolish, like I almost forgot about one of them to include, saying that putting Emily in power would have been a better choice in heaven. Yes, this Emily. Minus the fact that she's still a child that doesn't know shit. Other than that, thank you for watching, and have a nice day night.